Hey guys, what's going on today? We got another Kashtira deck profile. This time it's with the new cards in it. A lot of these cards I've already gotten, but there's a couple proxies, just like some loose ends and stuff that I haven't gotten yet. But I figured I'd go ahead and get it out there while the people are really wanting to build it for the regionals and YCS coming up. I'll be going to the regional and I'll have a passport to go all the way to Europe. So yeah, we're just going to get into it. So we got 3 Fenrir. None of this part is going to be very unique. 3 Unicorn, 3 Rise Heart. You definitely need to play 3 of this card. I don't know why anybody would play less. And it's not a good argument to say that you play 2 in a Rota. You really just need the 3rd copy for grind, and then 1 of each of the Extender 7s. This one is really good as a Bagoo Scout, so I probably will play 2 of this instead of the tier limit. This card's just really cute whenever you're like under Shifter or a Rise Heart, and then you make your opponent banish their cards on the top of the deck instead. But other than that, there's not really much else to play. Ogre's terrible. None of the traps are really that good. And then, like I said, I'll probably switch this for a second Scareclaw just as more Bagoo Scouts to draw in the deck. For the Kashtira spells, we got 3 Planet, 3 Theosis, and 3 Birth. I also see people cutting down on Birth because it is really bricky, but you really just need to have it in your deck at all times to keep going, especially late game. It's also like a really good starter for whenever you get Iblied, because then you can at least like normal the Unicorn or Fenrir and start your plays that way. And then the Big Bang deck requirement. For the generic and consistency cards, got 3 Pot of Prosperity. You have to play this. Desires is terrible in this deck. The selection is very important, and you can't really afford to not play this card in this deck, unfortunately. 3 Book of Eclipse. For the mirror, obviously, but it's also just like generically good against the rest of the meta, which is weird. Usually when Book of Eclipse is involved in a format, that means the format is going to be very toxic. So I'm very unexcited to see how the format turns out, especially if Konami doesn't do the right thing with tier and hit them harder. Because we've never seen tier on the power level that it is, so that's why I don't think this deck's going to be very good, because that tier deck, the new tier deck, is going to be crazy. We're playing the field spells, Searchers, Terraforming, Set Rotation, and we play Necro Valley for the Set Rotation. Necro Valley is still very powerful. It can turn off your own births, but sometimes you just got to take that risk. It also turns off the tier limit, Kashtira, and Scareclaw. But when you could turn off the entire tier deck and most of the Sprite late game, it's worth playing. Playing 1 Change of Heart for the mirror, but it's also just very good to bait out at least 1 interruption in any deck, or take something like Rickalos, or just it basically eats a negate or interruption no matter what. And then for hand traps, 3 Ash, 3 Shifter, and 3 Imperm. These are all like the higher impact ones. Ash is alright in the format. Like, there's a lot of spots where it's not very good, but it's particularly good against Kashtira. And also being a level 3 tuner means I get to make Baron in the extra deck. I am siding Cherries because the mirror match is going to be very hard to play going second. So also if you draw multiples of the Cherries, that you can make it with Baron off that as well. For the extra deck, got the 2 Ira. Sometimes it feels like I really just want to play 3 of this, like online with the online testing I've done, because the first one gets outed very easily. The second one comes up a lot, and then there are some like just weird scenarios where I want the 3rd one. 2 Arise Heart, definitely don't need more of this. 2 Big Eye. The reason we're on 2 Big Eye is for the mirror as well. getting your Big Eye taken is just like hugely detrimental to the grind of the mirror match. But it's also just very strong where you get to like take any XC attack and then put Zeus on top of the Big Eye and then go from there. We got one Draco Sack, one Diablosis, and one Flare Metal. Draco Sack is a floodgate out. That's all it's really here for. 89 is here because it's part of the combo. I really want to play 2 of this, truth be told. There's just not room. And then Flare Metal is the time card. Usually it's always eaten by Prosperity on game 1 because you're realistically not making this over anything else, but it's really nice to have just like a time card built into the extra deck. And then 2 Zeus, just in case the first one gets taken out. Like, the mirror is like going to be very hard to play against because the decks don't play any form of disruption truly, so it's really just like resource management and grind. So you got to like optimize and maximize for those types of scenarios where Zeus feels like sometimes you just want 3 because the first one gets ripped out, and then if Unicorn gets to go get it out, then the matchup just becomes insanely hard. 2 Link Karibo again for the mirror, but also for Sprite if they go back to the Ibly build, because you'll make Link Karibo, they'll summon it with Elf and IP link it away, then you make this. So you have 2 of them. You can't really do anything with 2 of them, but it's here for that. But it's really just for the mirror, so that way when the first one gets hacked out, you're at least guaranteed to have at least a Zeus left afterwards. They decide to take both. And then we have Donner. So with Birth or Rise Heart, you can make Link Karibo, summon one of them, and then link into Donner, and then pop itself and something else, and then you unlock your zones to play your Kashtira main deck monsters. And then Baron. This is totally optional. You really don't have to play this. I think I made it 2 or 3 times at most. It's just like there's enough free spaces where you could play this. Realistically, I'll probably cut this and put in the Raid Raptor rank 7 that summons the statue and play the statue in the side, because I think the statue is a lot better. With everybody playing Link Karibo and Dark Holes to out the Ibly. That's it for the deck, though. Just a quick little upload. This deck is very popular. It's a lot of fun, in my opinion. It does have a lot of weaknesses, but at the same time, like if its engine gets rolling, it's really hard to stop. And it's very resilient to spot removal, which the format is pretty full of at the moment. So it's got that going for it. We'll see how it performs at the YCS. I'm not expecting it to perform too well because, like I said, tier limit is the most powerful it's ever existed as. So I think that's going to skew a lot of the results. But anyway, thanks for watching. Remember to comment, rate, subscribe.